Hello, this is Everett Pierce with Einstein 314 on my Facebook, and you can find me on my Twitter at Energy321. Now, on this part 3 of the Twitter in Chief, part 3. Now, the two things that is highly detrimental to our president and to the United States is what we're going to discuss in this part 3. But before we get started, I want to extend a happy 4th of July. Now, on Twitter, there is a hashtag Proud America. And I say, oh hell yeah. To be proud. Because we aspire for greatness in hopes that we will see the sunrise to our future. So, a happy 4th of July to everyone. Okay, the Twitter in Chief. The two things that is highly detrimental to our president and our nation is pedestal is one, and disassociation. Now, what do I mean by pedestal? Now, in relation to this pedestal, it's a contributing factor as to why some nations are motivated in such a way they want to kill Americans. And it's actually inscribed in of the 10 Commandments. Do not have any other gods before I. Okay, meaning the highest level of evolution is God. And as we all know, no matter what country you're from, no matter what you call the highest form of evolution, whether it be God, Allah, Jehovah. So, people take the highest level of evolution seriously, because that is essentially our salvation, our hope, to live a life beyond what we see today. So we see the things that you know about the president. He's a leader of America. Now, he's leading who? And so when you make a list of all the various different people, religion, cultures, evolution, so we have a multitude of things here in America. And that's why of any other nation out there, the other nations need to be more tolerable to us, because we're doing something that's never been done before, is known as the melting pot. Is trying to come together in a system of things that we as a whole become better to aspire to our future. So we'll see many sunrises and sunsets. Okay, so what we see a lot with the media, with the multitude of people out there, is they want to put the president on a pedestal. And let me explain to you, and it's actually, there's a lot entailed into this. So we'll make this real brief in that respect. Is, as we all know, pedestal is showcasing. So if you get an award, you put it up on the shelf, and it stays on that shelf. Well, on the pedestal president, now Trump had tweeted that, no, you're right, I'm not presidential. I'm modern day presidential. And that is so critical of his tweet, is that when we see people, especially like ISIS and religious groups and what have you, and they're still living on old, ancient, evolutionary concepts that should have been abandoned many years ago, like 3,000 years ago, and we hold these truths, have adopted far greater evolutionary concepts. So, to move into the present day presidential makes Trump more correct. Because Trump is essentially an apprentice to the Trinity political party. He's not really Republican or Democrat, but for the sake of understanding, he's registered as a Republican. So, that is correct. Is he's the modern day presidential. We have to think and raise the bar to things, especially with the media. Okay, now I've seen a lot of people, a lot of feedback, collective feedback, and you say, well, that a president shouldn't say this, and a president should say that, and president da da da, president. Everyone has an idea of what the president should be, and yet we've only had 45 of them. How could you even remotely know what a president should be? Now, as a leader of leaders, is you have to step back, take a deep breath. Is by your very actions, which is pedestal. You want to put the president up on a pedestal and say, nope, the president's not supposed to say that. Nope, the president's not supposed to say that. No, the president's not supposed to be doing that. President's not supposed to play golf. And and it's like everyone, you got 330 million Americans, everyone has their take on what a president should be doing. And that limits, basically, is they just want the president to stand up there and look good. 4 scores and 7 years ago, our father... Oh, you can't say that. 4 scores. We're in 2017. People may not know what it means. But basically, the pedestal is, we have certain interest groups, and as we're learning with the media, the far left, is they essentially, they want to corner the president into a position where, as a president, you're like, well, there's nothing I can do, and it's like someone is unhappy. That's why you say when you're up on a pedestal, that spot is reserved for God. So when you put the president up there on the same level as God, that is going to piss off a lot of people around the world. So essentially what you're saying, the people itself trying to put the president up on a pedestal like God, that itself is, the catalyst for terrorism, for people that they're killing you, or they want to kill you because they think you're the devil incarnate. Because only the, quote, devil would want to be up on the same level as God. So you really have to think about, Trump, first of all, is not the type of person to be up on a pedestal. And like I said, we'll have to go on this in great detail, is when you're up on a pedestal and you have 300 million Americans, not to mention the world countries, and then they have their input, well, the president shouldn't be doing this, and it's like, before you know it, all your options are gone. Your only option is to stand up there and just look and don't even say a word. And then they'll move into, well, a president's supposed to not look like that. He's not supposed to be happy. He's not supposed to be mad. It's like, it's like, talk about insanity. No, the top 2 worst things you can do is disassociation and pedestal. Take the president down. The president is the highest office of our government. But that's why on our $1 bill and many other things, in God we trust. Meaning the highest pedestal that we hold to, in God we trust. We're putting our trust and our faith and hope, and that we aspire for that greatness, that we can see the horizon to our future. Not only to our future, but the whole world's future. But we have to stay focused on, when I say make America first, we have to set the bar. We have to, we have to take root. And then other countries see us as an example, as a mentor. Not saying that we're trying to tell all the countries this is how you're supposed to do it. Is we're going to give people, we must give people an example or basis to work off of, that we know that's going to work. You might have a slight deviation of it, but somehow you are making it work, that we didn't foresee of a variation to it. Just like this shirt could be blue and still have the flag on. It could be purple, which is one of my I like all colors, by the way. But I levitate towards purple. Because when you mix blue and red together, that's purple. And if you mix the white, all three together, then you have like a light purple. It's still purple. And that's why with our military, Purple Heart. Someone who has given dedication, sacrifice, and to this nation of all people. So this is the 4th of July. Of all the individuals, our military, everyone out there who can honestly say, I did my effort as much as I possibly could under my means of thinking and doing to make this America great again. So when you today on July 4th, you can say, damn right, I'm a proud American. Now you don't necessarily have to be proud the way things are. You're not supposed to be happy with the way things are because we're still evolving. We haven't really technically seen what greatness is all about. We know it's there. We can smell it. We can sense it. We can taste it. We can hear it. But how you become proud of your nation, you become proud of this world, is you got to start somewhere. And so today on July 4th, 2017, hell yeah, I'm proud to be American. Because I see the greatness. And I love sunsets and sunrises. And I'm about forever life. Now, you could choose option B is to be forever death, meaning extinction. But that's not anything that I would care to have on my resume. Because we see examples of that with T-Rex. So with T-Rex, if anything, it teaches us what we don't want to become. So the pedestal in regards to Donald Trump's tweets, he is to get more, he's tweeting a lot, and he should be. And you say, wait a minute. He represents many Americans, many intelligence, many evolutions, many perspectives, to someone who is high and prim and proper, to someone that is they only wear t-shirts, or they only say cuss words. So the Trump has to have a wide variety of tweeting, and he has to establish and maintain communications. That eliminates disassociation. And the reason for that, if the president may remain quiet, people start thinking, oh my God, what's Trump thinking? What's he doing? What's this? And people can start making assumptions. And more times than not, false assumptions. Well, I bet that son of a bitch is up there plotting against me. And that's what disassociation on many different levels is. It's like you may not like, say, 40% of my personality. But what I'm going to establish with you, the people in which I'm leading, is that I'm going to establish my intent. I'm going to establish my love and passion for this nation, for you, and for the greatness that I see that awaits us on the horizon, and the sunrise. So there'll be no doubt in your mind. There'll be no doubt in your mind what my intentions are. But when you take out disassociation, it's like the news media. And it's like they want to control everything about the president. They want to put him on a pedestal. That itself is the catalyst of why some nations out there want to kill Americans. And it's like, oh, they think they're on the same level of God. Well, it's like, just think when you walk around and you start treating people as if, you're just a piece of trash. Well, that's going to piss those people off. Because people here on this planet is not a piece of trash. Maybe off their path or a little off their thinking in terms of their understanding. But no one's a piece of trash. So we have to avoid of all costs putting our president up on that pedestal. Is because when you do that, all you're doing, you're going to ask for other nations other people out there, is keep the president on the level in which he's supposed to be on, not on the level of God. That platform is reserved for God, the highest level of evolution. And that's why we, on our dollar bill, on our buildings, in God we trust. Here's our highest of office. And since he's leading America, Americans are following him. And we are all putting a hope and faith in God. How each and every one of us perceives of God in our own particular way. As long as it doesn't entail killing masses of people, women and children. Because as an adult, you go into an unwritten contract as an adult that you will preserve and protect the pathway of our future generations. And our future generations have an unwritten contract too, that they will do their best to stay on that path of greatness, to aspire to a greatness. So we all can benefit. So we have to start with America, the melting pot. And that's why a lot of nations out there look up to Americans, want to come to America. But we have to get our own house in order. So, so I'm refusing to be pessimistic today. And I have every reason and a list of things that I could be pessimistic about of the things that isn't right in America. But I can tell you what is right today. Is we're on July 4th, 2017. That has never done before. Ever. And it's like called an evolutionary reset. So yeah, I think you all need to pat yourself on the back and be proud that somehow, somewhere along the way, someone did enough right things to be at where we're at today. So yeah, I'm damn proud to be a proud American. Because I know that if we get our house in order, other people are going to get their house in order, and we got a lot of great things to experience. And we all want to experience that, not just some of us, all of us. So, and Trump knows this. Trump knows that he has to establish that communication to the enemy, like the kryptonite to Superman, is disassociation. And of course, a lot of people, well, they don't like him tweeting. They don't like him. And it's like, wait a minute. It's like, it's taken out the element of dissociation. And the thing is, well, it's not presidential. If, say, for example, if Trump was specifically tweeting about, say, just black people, quote, there's no such thing as black people, but 50 million shades of brown, but very specific individuals. Everything he tweeted was about this particular group and nothing else. That's not presidential. If he only talked about bankers and the financial institution and nothing else, that's not presidential. Because America does not represent just bankers. It represents all levels of jobs, education, evolutions, religions, all of it. So his tweeting, and as I have seen, he's tweeting a lot, and it's in various different topics. So, and what I've seen, I would be tweeting or Facebooking more, but Trump is his own man. He's going at his pace because he, in a sense, he's going in territories that he haven't been before. So at some point you take baby steps, or you at least make progress each and every day. You're moving forward, not find yourself 20 steps back tomorrow. So yeah, let's all pat ourselves on the back briefly and say, yes, I am proud, a proud American. Because not only for 330 million Americans, but for the 7 billion people who live here. That to set an example, set the bar, take out disassociation, and stop putting the president up on a pedestal. Because that is why one of the contributing factors, the top 3 contributing factors that why other nations want to kill us, is because we're trying to be on the same level of God. And that was never intended to be that way. And it's even in the original, the starting point of the commandments. It wasn't the ending, but it was the starting point. Don't put a God before I. Means highest level of evolution. There's nothing beyond it. So we have our president. We aspire, in God we trust, of hope and faith, technology, methods to bring about this greatness. And we can set the standards of things, set records of things, make greatness of it. And I was joking the other day, and I said, it was like the critics of Trump. What are they going to do? Start complaining how Trump is conspiring to make 330 million Americans into millionaires. And I thought that was kind of funny. But we have to look past the critics. If I was to stop halfway into these people criticizing critics, is what I know for a fact as you move up the evolutionary path. And it was like, and even Joe Osteen has said, you can't make everyone happy. No, not everyone's going to be accepting of you. And because when you think about it, put God in there. How many people are accepting of God? How many people are more critical towards God? So if God can't accomplish that, say, well, there's some, God, there's nothing that God can do. Well, there's some things that God can't do. Is God can't make everyone accept him. Can't make everyone to be non-critical of him. Because the higher you are up in that evolutionary level, the more less accepting people become. Why? And people become more critical. Why? That's what they call evolutionary gap. There's such a gap, people have a hard time understanding that. And so they become less accepting of it and highly critical towards it. And that's why when we use the term evolutionary bridge, is to try to fill in that bridge. And as we know with the symbolism of bridge, one side could be on a different height as the one on the other. But the prime purpose is to connect both sides. So yeah, it's I'll end it right there on this part 3 of Trump Twitter in chief. That Trump is right on schedule. He's removing disassociation, and he's keeping people from putting him up on a pedestal. When you think of pedestal, think of this. When you say, I'm going to run around the track, and then they give you the award, this trophy, then you put it up on the shelf. Trump is still in his presidential, he's still being a president. And you say, in terms of trophy, like Abraham Lincoln, then we put Lincoln up on this shelf, not with God, but the shelf of success, aspiring for greatness. And then we look back on it and say, thank God he passed the 13th Amendment. Thank God he took a bullet in the head. Thank God he did this, and thank God he did that. He went down on the battlefield to show his soldiers that he's willing to do exactly the same thing he's asking them to do. So there are many things. So wait till Trump is done with his presidential terms, and then do inventory from our economics and say, hey, then you put him on the shelf. Is he worthy of that shelf of moving United States forward in great strides? And the things that he have done, are they on the level of the 13th Amendment? I mean, is it changes to our nation that's going to affect our future generation and all of us for hundreds of years to come? Then that's the time to pedestal, on a shelf. But it's not really a pedestal. It's just to make knowledge of those who have done their yielding. The presidents their yielding has moved us literally leaps and bounds versus little baby steps. So Trump knows this. I know this. Obviously, from the feedback from the media, people don't know this. You have to avoid pedestal. You have to avoid disassociation. And it's like, I'd rather have people complain about or say to me, if I was president, Everett, shut up. I can handle that. But what I can't handle is people say, oh, what's Everett talking about? Oh my God, is he plotting against me? Is he conspiring? You know how people are. They're like, I mean, it wouldn't take a day's time and people would conclude, negative conclusion, that somehow I'm sneaking around the corner to conspiring to kill him. Okay, but if I'm in your face and you know what I'm doing, I'm thinking, for the most part, minus some security things, so because we still have to protect America, it makes it that much difficult for people to make assumptions. And say, yeah, you don't like my personality? Well, there's a lot of people don't like God. Doesn't like the way God does things. Acceptance. And highly critic of God. So that's going to be part of the thing. So as president, I have to be allowed to do what I feel is going to take us leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. Like in Australia, we're not going to take little bunny rabbit hops. We're going to take leaps, the true meaning of leaps and bounds. Versus these little baby steps where we're 200 years later and we're still dealing with this so-called illusional racist thing. Because people don't want to evolve. It's like a caveman holding on to the stone wheel, refusing to move on to the wagon wheel or move on to the rubber tire because they feel safe and comfortable with that. And if they were to move on, they're going to explore areas of the unknown, which is fearful, I can understand that fear. But at some point, in terms of evolution, you have to take that leap of faith. And then we all take the leap of faith together. And that's why we use the term, in God we trust. No matter who or what you see as the highest level of evolution, or what you see as God, we're all talking about the same thing. We're looking towards the very thing that can pull our, pardon my French, pull our asses out of the fire. So we know there's great things. We can smell it, we can taste it. We just need to figure out how to get there. There's some of us who've already been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But I can only take a horse to a water. Because of the conditions of it. I cannot, because of free will. You have to make the choice yourself. Why? Not to be a thief to you, of you participating in greatness. And with that, to everyone out there, damn right I'm proud American. And I'm proud that other nations out there look up to us as being mentors, being big brothers and big sisters. Because I'm looking forward to 7 billion plus people seeing this and experiencing this greatness that we all have heard about for thousands and thousands and millions and billions of years. So with that, thank you for your time. And God bless America.